Right now, you're wasting the most important part of your day. You think mornings matter most. Wake up early, win the day, conquer before breakfast. That's what they tell you. And they're wrong. Not because mornings don't matter, but because they're ignoring something more powerful. Your evening. The hours between when you stop working and when you sleep. Most people waste this time. Scrolling, watching, numbing, collapsing into whatever requires the least effort. They call it relaxation. It's not. It's resignation. And it's costing them everything. Marcus Aurelius understood something modern productivity gurus miss. How you end your day determines the quality of your sleep, the clarity of your mind, and the person you become over time. He didn't just have a morning routine. He had an evening practice, a deliberate sequence of activities designed to process the day, prepare the mind, and reinforce character. This wasn't self-care. This was self-construction. The intentional building of a sovereign mind through daily practice. This video will give you the 8 evening practices Marcus Aurelius used to maintain clarity during chaos, peace during war, and wisdom during impossible decisions. These aren't relaxation techniques, they're reconstruction techniques. Tools for ending each day better than you started it. Watch closely, because how you spend your evenings will determine who you become over the next year. And right now, you're spending them wrong. You need to understand why evenings matter more than you think. Your brain doesn't shut off when you stop working. It continues processing everything that happened during the day, every interaction, every decision, every emotion. And how you guide that processing determines what gets reinforced and what gets released. If you end your day in chaos, scrolling through social media, consuming content mindlessly, arguing online, your brain processes the day through that lens. Anxiety gets reinforced. Comparison gets strengthened. Distraction becomes your default state. But if you end your day with intention, with practices designed to process, reflect, and prepare, your brain integrates the day differently. Lessons get extracted, patterns get recognized, wisdom gets built. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." But he didn't just prepare in the morning, he processed in the evening. He reviewed what happened, what he learned, where he failed, where he succeeded. That evening review was where growth happened, not in the experience itself, but in the reflection on the experience. Most people never reflect. They just accumulate experiences without extracting meaning. They repeat the same mistakes because they never process why they made them. They stay stuck in the same patterns because they never examine those patterns. Your evening is where that changes, where you transform experience into wisdom, activity into growth, time into character, but only if you use it intentionally. Practice 1. The evening review. This is the foundation of Marcus Aurelius's evening routine. Before anything else, he reviewed his day. Not casually, systematically. He asked himself specific questions designed to extract maximum learning from every experience. The practice is simple but profound. You sit somewhere quiet, no distractions, no phone, and you mentally replay your day from beginning to end. Not passively, actively, asking questions. Where did I act with virtue today? Where did I fail? When did I let emotion control my response? When did I respond with wisdom? What did I do well that I should reinforce? What did I do poorly that I need to change? Who did I help? Who did I hurt? What opportunities did I miss? What did I learn? Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you have trouble getting out of bed in the morning, remember that your defining characteristic is to work with others. You're acting against your own nature when you complain about your job." He held himself accountable, daily, not through self-punishment, through honest assessment. You do the same. You spend 15 minutes reviewing your day, not judging yourself harshly, but not lying to yourself either. You see clearly what happened. You acknowledge where you fell short. You recognize where you succeeded. And through that honest assessment, you build self-awareness. You start seeing your patterns. the situations that trigger you, the people who bring out your worst, the moments when you're strongest. That awareness is power, because you can't change what you don't see, and most people never see themselves clearly because they never look. This practice forces you to look, every single day, and over time that looking transforms you, not through dramatic change, through tiny adjustments compounded over months and years. Practice 2. Negative visualization. This is the Stoic practice Marcus Aurelius used every evening. He imagined loss, not to be morbid, to be grateful. He would sit and mentally rehearse losing what he had, his empire, his family, his health, his life. He would imagine in detail what it would feel like if these things were taken from him tomorrow. The practice sounds depressing. It's actually liberating, because when you imagine loss, you stop taking for granted what you have. Your ordinary life becomes extraordinary. The health you ignore becomes precious. The people you overlook become irreplaceable. The simple fact that you're alive becomes miraculous. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not indulge in dreams of having what you have not, but reckon up the chief of the blessings you do possess, and then thankfully remember how you would crave for them if they were not yours." This is how he practiced gratitude, not through forced positivity, through imagined absence. You practice this for 10 minutes each evening. You close your eyes and imagine losing something important: your home, your partner, your ability to walk, your vision, your mind. You sit with that imagined loss. You feel what it would be like, the grief, the longing, the regret for not appreciating it while you had it. And then you open your eyes, and it's still here. The thing you imagined losing is still present. That contrast creates genuine gratitude, not the shallow kind that fades in seconds. The deep kind that changes how you see your entire life. You stop waiting for better circumstances. You start appreciating current ones, not because you've lowered your standards, but because you've raised your awareness. You see clearly what you have, and that seeing transforms everything. Practice 3. Prepare tomorrow's obstacles. Marcus Aurelius didn't just review the past, he prepared for the future. Specifically, he anticipated tomorrow's challenges and mentally rehearsed his response. This is called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Every evening he would think about the next day. What difficult conversations awaited him? What challenging decisions? What people might frustrate him? What situations might trigger his worst impulses? And for each potential obstacle, he rehearsed his ideal response. Not what he'd probably do, what he wanted to do, how his best self would handle it. If someone insults him, he won't react with anger. He'll pause, observe, respond with wisdom. If a subordinate disappoints him, he won't lash out. He'll teach, guide, correct with patience. If circumstances don't go his way, he won't complain. He'll adapt, adjust, find the opportunity in the obstacle. This mental rehearsal is powerful because your brain doesn't fully distinguish between imagined experience and real experience. When you rehearse the right response, you're creating a neural pathway, a pattern that's easier to follow when the real situation arrives. Most people are constantly surprised by predictable challenges. They know their boss will be demanding, their partner will be stressed, traffic will be frustrating, but they never prepare, so they react poorly. Again and again, you break that pattern. You spend 10 minutes each evening thinking about tomorrow. What challenges will arise? What's the highest version of my response? How do I want to handle difficulty? And then you visualize yourself handling it that way, calmly, wisely. With virtue, this doesn't guarantee perfect responses, but it dramatically increases the likelihood, because you've already practiced, already decided, already committed to your ideal response before the heat of the moment. That preparation is the difference between reacting and responding, between being controlled by circumstances and controlling your response to them. Practice 4. Memento mori meditation. Remember, you will die. This was Marcus Aurelius's most consistent evening practice. Every night before sleep, he meditated on his mortality. Not morbidly, practically. He reminded himself that this day might be his last. This conversation might be his final one. This decision might be his legacy. That reminder changed everything. When you truly feel your mortality, trivial things lose their power. Petty grievances dissolve. Ego softens. What matters becomes crystal clear. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." He used death as a filter. Every action passed through this question. If I die tonight, will I be satisfied with how I spent today? That question eliminated waste. He didn't spend evenings on activities that wouldn't matter on his deathbed. He didn't waste energy on grudges that would be meaningless in the face of death. He didn't chase status that death renders irrelevant. You practice this for 5 minutes each evening. You sit quietly. You close your eyes, and you imagine that tonight is your last night. Tomorrow won't come. This is it. How do you feel about the day you just lived? Did you live according to your values? Did you treat people well? Did you waste time on things that don't matter? Did you say what needed to be said? Did you do what needed to be done? Don't rush past the discomfort. Sit with it. Let the reality of your mortality penetrate. Let it show you what matters and what doesn't. And then commit. Tomorrow, assuming you get it, you'll live differently. You'll prioritize differently. You'll speak more honestly, love more openly, work more meaningfully, waste less time. This practice doesn't make you morbid. It makes you alive. Because most people live like they have infinite time. They postpone. They procrastinate. They save their best selves for someday. You won't make that mistake anymore. Because every evening you remember, someday is not guaranteed. Today is all you have. Use it accordingly. Practice 5. Evening journaling. Marcus Aurelius's meditations weren't written for publication. They were his private journal, his evening practice of putting thoughts on paper, processing his day, working through his philosophy, reinforcing his principles. He wrote to himself, for himself, as a tool for maintaining clarity in chaos. You need the same practice, not because journaling is trendy, because it works. Writing forces clarity. When thoughts stay in your head, they remain vague, emotional, tangled. But when you write them down, you have to make them coherent. You have to structure them, examine them, and in that process, you gain distance from them. You stop being your thoughts. You become the observer of your thoughts. And that distance is power. Your evening journaling practice has 3 parts. First, you write what happened today. Not everything. The significant moments, the decisions, the interactions, the emotions. You document your experience, not for memory, for processing. Second, you write what you learned. What did today teach you? What patterns did you notice? What worked? What didn't? What do you need to do differently tomorrow? You extract wisdom from experience. Third, you write your commitments. Based on today's lessons, what will you do tomorrow? What will you practice? What will you change? What will you remember? This 3-part process takes 15 minutes. And those 15 minutes are more valuable than most people's entire day. Because this is where growth happens. Where you transform from someone who experiences things to someone who learns from things. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. He could have delegated this, had scribes, had advisors. But he wrote himself, every evening. Because the value wasn't in the output, it was in the process, in forcing himself to think clearly, to examine honestly, to commit deliberately. You gain the same benefits, not from perfect journal entries, from the daily practice of thinking through writing, of processing through documentation, of building wisdom through reflection. Practice 6. Physical reset. Marcus Aurelius understood that mind and body are connected, that mental clarity requires physical care. So his evening routine included deliberate physical practices designed to release the day's tension and prepare the body for rest. This wasn't about exercise. Evening is not the time for intensity, it's the time for release, for unwinding the physical stress accumulated during the day. For most people, that stress stays locked in the body. Tight shoulders, clenched jaw, shallow breathing, tense muscles. They carry it into sleep, which means they never fully rest. Their body stays in low-grade fight or flight all night. You break that pattern with an evening physical reset. The practice is simple. You spend 10 minutes moving gently, stretching, breathing deeply, releasing tension. You start with breath. Slow, deep breathing. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Exhale for 6. Repeat for 2 minutes. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system. Tells your body it's safe, that the day is over, that it can relax. Then you stretch. Not aggressively, gently. You notice where you're holding tension, and you breathe into those areas. Neck rolls, shoulder stretches, hip openers, spinal twists. You're not trying to become flexible. You're releasing the physical residue of stress. Marcus Aurelius would have done something similar. Roman baths, massage, gentle movement, not luxury, necessity. Because he understood that a tense body creates a tense mind, and a tense mind cannot think clearly. Your physical reset prepares your body for genuine rest. It signals that the day is complete, that it's safe to let go, that sleep is approaching, and that signal matters, because most people carry daytime tension into nighttime. They lie in bed with racing thoughts and tight muscles wondering why they can't sleep. You won't have that problem, because you released it, deliberately, through your evening physical practice. Practice 7. Disconnect from the world. This is the practice modern people resist most, and need most. Marcus Aurelius didn't have internet, didn't have news, didn't have the ability to stay connected to the entire world's problems every moment. That wasn't a limitation, it was a gift. Because constant connection is not connection, it's fragmentation. Your mind cannot rest while consuming the world's information, cannot process your own day while absorbing everyone else's content, cannot build wisdom while scrolling endlessly. The evening requires disconnection, complete, total, non-negotiable. 2 hours before sleep, all screens go away. Phone, computer, television, all of it. No exceptions, no checking, no scrolling, no consuming. This will feel impossible at first. You'll have withdrawal, you'll feel anxious. You'll think you're missing something important. You're not. You're missing distraction. And distraction is exactly what you need to miss. Because in the absence of external input, internal clarity emerges. Your own thoughts become audible. Your own feelings become noticeable. Your own self becomes accessible. Marcus Aurelius spent his evenings in contemplation, in conversation, in reading philosophy, in writing. None of it required connection to the entire empire. He dealt with Rome during the day. Evening was for himself. You need the same boundary. The world can wait. Your notifications can wait. Other people's updates can wait. Because these 2 hours are not for the world. They're for you. For processing. For preparing. For becoming. And you cannot become while consuming. You cannot build while scrolling. You cannot think while clicking. The disconnection is not deprivation. It's reclamation. You're taking back your evening, your mind, your attention, and using it for what actually matters. Your growth, your peace, your preparation for tomorrow. Practice 8. Sleep preparation ritual. Marcus Aurelius understood that sleep is not something that happens to you. It's something you prepare for. That the quality of your sleep depends on the quality of your preparation. So he had a specific ritual. A sequence of actions that signaled to his body and mind that sleep was approaching. Your sleep preparation ritual begins 30 minutes before bed. Same time every night. Consistency matters. Your body learns the pattern, starts preparing before you even begin. First, you dim the lights. Bright light tells your brain it's daytime. Dim light signals evening. You're working with your biology, not against it. Second, you set tomorrow's intention. Not a to-do list, an intention. How do you want to be tomorrow? What quality do you want to embody? What's your one priority? You write it down. One sentence. That becomes your first thought tomorrow morning. Third, you practice gratitude. 3 specific things from today that you're grateful for. Not generic things, specific moments, the taste of your coffee, the sound of someone's laugh, the fact that your body worked all day without you thinking about it. This practice shifts your mind from problem-solving mode to appreciation mode, from stress to peace. Fourth, you release the day, literally. You say out loud, "Today is complete. I did what I could. I learned what I needed to learn. Now I rest." This verbal release signals closure. Your mind can stop processing. The day is done. Fifth, you read philosophy. Not news, not social media, not stimulating fiction. Philosophy. Something that elevates your thinking, that reminds you of your principles. That prepares your mind for rest through wisdom. Marcus Aurelius would read Epictetus, Heraclitus, other Stoics. You read whatever philosophy speaks to you. 10 minutes, no more. You're not trying to finish books. You're preparing your mind. Finally, you lie down with nothing. No phone, no thoughts of tomorrow, no mental rehearsals. Just presence, just breath, just the transition from waking to sleeping. This ritual takes 30 minutes, and it transforms your sleep. Because you're not crashing into unconsciousness. You're transitioning deliberately. Your mind knows it's time to rest. Your body knows it's safe. And sleep comes naturally, not forced, invited. Now understand this. These 8 practices are not separate techniques. They're an integrated system. Each one supports the others. The review gives you material for journaling. The negative visualization creates gratitude. The obstacle preparation reduces anxiety. The memento mori provides perspective. The journaling process is everything. The physical reset releases tension. The disconnection creates space. And the sleep ritual completes it all. Together, they transform your evening from wasted time into the most valuable hours of your day. Not because evening is when you're most productive, but because evening is when you're most reflective. When you can see clearly what happened. Learn from it. Prepare for tomorrow. Build the person you want to become. Marcus Aurelius didn't become a philosopher king by accident. He built himself, daily, through practices exactly like these, through ending every day better than he started it, through using his evenings to process, prepare, and grow. You have the same opportunity, every single evening, the same hours, the same practices, the same potential. The only question is whether you'll use it, whether you'll trade scrolling for reflecting, consuming for creating, distraction for development. Most people won't. They'll read this and change nothing. They'll keep wasting their evenings on nothing. Keep wondering why they're not growing. Keep feeling stuck while doing nothing different. You're not most people. You understand that your evening routine is not about relaxation. It's about reconstruction, about becoming someone new through daily practice, about ending each day slightly better than you started it. And over months and years, those slight improvements compound into complete transformation. You've been given the 8 practices, not theory, not philosophy. Practical tools used by one of history's greatest leaders to maintain clarity during chaos. The evening review to extract wisdom from experience. Negative visualization to build genuine gratitude. Obstacle preparation to respond with virtue. Memento mori to maintain perspective. Evening journaling to process and commit. Physical reset to release tension. Disconnection from the world to reclaim your mind. And sleep preparation ritual to rest deeply. These practices take 90 minutes total. 90 minutes that will transform your life more than any morning routine ever could. Because mornings are about execution. Evenings are about evolution. You don't need to implement all 8 tonight. Start with 1, the review, or the journaling, or the disconnection. Build the habit, then add another, then another. Within weeks, you'll have a complete evening practice, a system that makes you better every single day. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire. You probably don't, but you rule yourself, or you should. And these practices are how you do it, how you become sovereign over your own mind, your own growth, your own character. So no, this wasn't about productivity hacks or sleep optimization. This was about building yourself intentionally instead of becoming someone by default. About using your evenings for what they're actually for, not escape. Evolution. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. Your present is this evening. Right now. What will you do with it? Will you waste it like you've wasted hundreds before? Or will you use it to become someone new? Like this video if you're ready to stop wasting your evenings. Subscribe if you're ready to build yourself deliberately through daily practice, because this isn't self-care. This is self-construction, and you just became the architect."